What's up, everybody? I hope this video finds you well. Um, I know that we are in very rocky times right now. Very rocky times. That's the understatement of the year. And the year just started. um, but I've been thinking of the events of the past week, and honestly, the past year as a whole. And I can only come up with a suggestion. I think it's time that we as a nation separate ourselves from Facebook and Twitter. After the riot at the Capitol, these companies decided to take it upon themselves to censor the President of the United States of America. Now, say what you think about the man. This is a dangerous step for these big tech companies to take. Now, free speech is an American right, and one could argue that this is an attack on free speech, and I'd agree, but that gets countered by the private business retort. But you see, that's not even the main problem for me. It's a problem, but it's not the main problem. Because what this step does doesn't only affect Americans, it affects the rest of the world as well. Many other world leaders who in the past have shown both support and disdain for our current president have also shown concerns over the actions of big tech. Angela Merkel of Germany, Bolsonaro in Brazil, Obrador in Mexico are just a few. This is because what these companies have essentially done is announce to the world that they are more powerful than the world governments of the world. That they can censor any politician from anywhere for whatever reason. These companies have been around for years now and have become ingrained in American society. They provide everyone with a new way of communication. The truth, though, is that Facebook and Twitter act more as a drug than a new way of communication. These social media apps do nothing more than throw gasoline on a fire, using algorithms that'll bait us into clicking things they know will piss us off, whether it be left-wing or right-wing. And where once we could negate these angering effects of these platforms because we had just more freedom, just freedom of mobility. But now as we've entered the COVID sphere, people have lost jobs, people have self-quarantined, and now the online persona has quickly become the only persona. And the more time we spent online, the more vitriol we'd start spewing at each other. It's funny that we like to argue about hate groups in America. The left will say Trump supporters are a hate group. The right will say BLM or Antifa are hate groups. But I think we should stop and consider that these tech companies are the actual hate groups in this country. Not in the sense that they hate a particular group of people, but in that they essentially make money by ensuring we get angry, stay angry, and eventually hateful towards each other. These platforms act as a real-world equivalent of the Venom symbiote from Spider-Man 3. It feels great, but it makes us become monsters. So what can we do? What should we do? Should we call upon our elected leaders to put regulations on these clear monopolies? I'd say yes, but I fear many of them are in the pocket of these corporations. Or, as we've just seen, any politician that wants to challenge them can just be censored. Hell, if Joe Biden decides he wants to do something about Facebook and Twitter, they can just censor him too. Should we let the free market challenge these big tech giants? These big tech platforms, if you can even still call them platforms at this point? Well, as we've seen by the corporate assassination of the website Parlay, clearly that's not in the cards. And that, to me, just leaves one last option to combat these companies. And that is, as individuals, pull the plug on them. Come January 20th, rather than protest Biden's inauguration, which I know some of you will do, I propose a different protest, one that can be done right at home and is guaranteed peaceful. After Biden's inauguration, simply get rid of your Facebook and Twitter account for good. You might be asking, why protest these social media companies on Biden's inauguration? Well, to put it simply, they tried very, very hard to put this man in office by censoring stories from the New York Post about Hunter Biden and his Chinese dealings. Only have the media, classify it as Russian disinformation, only to find out post-election that it was all true. I don't know. I can find no better karma for these platforms than to have Biden's inauguration be the downfall for them. It just seems poetic. But that being said, it doesn't have to be on the 20th. If you want to get rid of it prior or a couple days after, then so be it. The point being is, unplug from these groups, because they don't offer anything to us. Honestly, they haven't contributed. I don't consider Facebook or Twitter a meaningful contribution to society. All it has done is sow division. These apps have us looking into the abyss instead of looking into the stars. That's a problem. No wonder why we're not advancing. But like I said, I don't expect a lot of you to do the same. Hell, I know how addictive social media can be. But maybe it's time to start looking for new smaller sites to shop local, so to speak. As I alluded to earlier, who would you rather be as a person? Would you rather be Eddie Brock, who embraces the power through anger and rage that the Venom symbiote offers? Or would you rather be like Peter Parker, who rejects the symbiote and finds happiness and peace? I'm with the latter, personally. Anyway, come the 20th, I will no longer be on Facebook or Twitter. I never really use Twitter anyway, so that's not going to be a big deal. But Facebook, I scroll every day. If you need to reach me, you can comment on one of my videos on my YouTube account at Firelord Prometheus. I can't promise you I'm going to have that account much longer either, because that's another big tech company. But they haven't taken the drastic step to censor the president. So, but I'm going to personally expand out into smaller tech groups, because that's all you can do at this point. It's time to stop giving these people any more power that they don't deserve. Straight up. So, anyway, I'll leave you with that. Goodbye. Good luck to the next. Good luck for the next year, because it's looking to be a rough one. I wish you all the best.